And now we're being presented with the question about which kernel we want to install. Looks like we just have a generic Linux image AMD64. Then we have a couple of other options, 5.10.0-10 or 5.10.0-9. I'm going to go ahead and choose the latest of the three we see. And let's go ahead and do a generic installation here, though I doubt I'm ever going to be swapping the drive between a different system, but I'm going to go ahead and keep my options open because, look, I have a 10 gigabyte boot partition. I don't think I need to worry about running out of room. Meanwhile, I'm firing up a different system here, the spare main computer, so I can just go to YouTube. And basically, so that way I can just go to YouTube and watch a UXW build. And we'll be back when we get prompted with another question, which probably isn't going to be that long from now, given the pace we're running at here, which is actually a pretty good pace. So, be back in a bit. And it was almost no sooner than I turned the camera off did the base system installation actually finish. We're still not to a point where if we reboot, we can boot, where if we exit the installer that we can boot up into a running operating system contained on the hard drive, but I believe at this point we are currently CH rooted into the new installation, and we can work with it. We can work with it in a minimal capacity to just get it finished up and configured. So let's go ahead and configure the package manager. You are installing from a DVD image. Do you want to use a network mirror? Sure, why not? HTTP, United States, no proxy information. Do you want to use non-free software? Go ahead. Enable source repositories and apt. Sure, why not? Makes things easier if I have to custom compile software on here. Now our internet connection right now is running slightly on the slower side of things. It's running a little bit slightly on the slower side of things, just probably because, I mean, it's 4:06 p.m. on Christmas Day. So, and then the next short break of video, the next short break I can get from the video, I'm going to go ahead and begin a zero fill on this Western Digital Black 4 terabyte hard drive. Security updates and release updates, and let's go ahead and enable the backported software repositories. Continue. And we can go ahead and select and install some common software packages and software suites. Setting up, upgrading software. Please wait. Running laptop detect. Okay. No automatic updates, thank you very much. That is something I can get very strongly opinionated about. Participate in a package usage survey, no. And I could just gut out the entire popularity contest. Nope, I do not want a Debian desktop environment. I do not want GNOME. However, I do want the standard card of system utilities and an SSH server. I do not want a web server. And not exactly sure how long it's going to be, but it looks like we're going to be just a little bit while it installs the software packages that I have selected, and it might go ahead and pull down some more software packages. So it looks like I'm just unpacking and installing a bunch of stuff. So I'll get back to it. I'll get back to it with the next question I get from the system. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and set that 4 terabyte hard drive on a D-band 0 fill. That is if I have enough time to do it before I get prompted once again. So let's see. Okay, we're back just a couple of minutes later. I'm waiting on D-band to boot up on the Tech Room Legacy Things system so I can 0 fill the 4 terabyte hard drive, and the software is installed. Go ahead and install the Grub bootloader, and we're probably going to get a prompt. We're probably going to get a couple of questions. Where do you want to install it, and probably do you want to install it directly to the root of a hard disk? Looking for other operating systems, shouldn't find anything. Okay, device for bootloader installation. Go ahead and put that on the hard drive. And we're getting this is something I've noticed whenever you create a GPT partition but you're booted in let's see. Seems that this computer is configured to boot via EFI, but maybe that configuration will not work from booting from the hard drive. Removable media path, okay. Now we don't have any other operating systems on here, so I'm going to go ahead and force grub installation to the EFI removable media path. And we're dead on 50%. Yeah, configuring grub whenever you get to stuff like logical volume, whenever you start getting into encryption with logical volume management nested in and stuff like that, it gets pretty hairy if you're not doing it via some sort of automated method or something that's not entirely aware of your hard disk configuration and whatnot. And let's change to DevConf priority. Critical is for items that will probably break the system without user intervention. Normal is like high is for items that don't have reasonable defaults. Medium is for normal items that have reasonable defaults. Low is for trivial cases that have defaults that will work in the vast majority of cases. Make it low. And okay, go ahead and finish up our installation. Setting users and passwords. And configuring clock settings. Is the system clock set to UTC? Okay, time zone to convert system time to normal time. I wonder what happens if we go and set that to no. Right? Yeah. Just go ahead and make it yes. Setting the hardware clock, updating the initial RAM file system, and we'll be back whenever I have the hard drive wipe started and this is finished. And we're back. Now the D-band wipe started. A quick glance told me that D-band estimated about 15 hours remaining on it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be close to 24 hours. Just knowing the way that hard drives tend to slow down whenever you get to the inside surfaces, when you get to the surface of the platter that nears the spindle motor. It's all about constant angular velocity versus constant linear velocity. Anyways, it says our installation is complete and our system is ready to be rebooted. And make sure to remove the installation media so that we boot into the new operating system rather than restarting the installation, which is a very good idea. Now our boot order is configured. Our boot order is presently configured such that even if I left the USB stick plugged into the computer, it's not going to be a problem since the internal hard drive has the highest of the boot priority, and the hard disks category is presently set to have the highest priority out of all the other categories and devices. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug our flash drive. and hit enter on continue. I'm mounting file systems and requesting a system reset. There we go. Got to the post pretty quick now, waiting on the Gigabit Ethernet controller to initialize, hand control off back to the BIOS, and our 2 end of post beeps. Now, there we go. And go ahead and boot up Debian GNU Linux. VMX outside TXT disabled by BIOS, okay, whatever that is. And now it wants us unlock our hard disk, and we are booting up. Hard drive makes a great deal of noise as it thrashes about preparing the operating system to come up, and we are sitting at a login prompt. Now, I do believe that if things all got configured correctly, the system, there should be an SSH server up and running. So go ahead and okay, remote host identification has changed, and we're getting a very nasty warning. And as regards to that, so I'm going to go ahead and run this command here. And I'm going to go ahead and try this again. Yes. And we're in. Let me go ahead and issue a terminal reset. And issue a terminal reset, probably crank up our exposure a little bit. Don't want to blow the colors clean out of the water here. So yeah, we definitely have some software packages to install. So I'm actually going to go ahead and go straight to root. And we are now sitting in a root prompt, so uptime vnstat samba cpsd if up no net dash tools Smart CTL and unable to open Smart Control, and clear I'm dragging something in that doesn't need to be dragged down. What is it? I can never remember this particular package name, but it does provide the Smart CTL command. Smart Mod Tools. There we go. Suggested packages, wanting to drag in a bunch of other stuff. So, oh, I forgot something. Cancel that. EDC app sources.list. You can go ahead and comment out the CD-ROM entry. And update our source files, and then try again. In fact, I'm actually going to issue a terminal reset just to make it look a little bit cleaner. and install a bunch of packages. Yes, go ahead. So 44.8 megabytes of stuff with 150 megabytes of additional hard drive space used. However, in the context of 8 terabytes, 150 megabytes is nothing. Like 150 megabytes, like imagine if you had, imagine if you had $8 trillion, $150 million would be a hardware rounding error in a piece of spreadsheet software. That's how insignificant it is. So, yeah, network's running a tad on the slower side, 740 kilobytes a second, but you multiply that 8 and there's your megabit. So 8, about a little over 6.5 megabits a second right now. Just doing some fast math in my head. Reminds me of the Cyrix Fast Math series of processors. So, yeah, I think what I'm gonna do, well, we're not entirely too far off from having a working file server once again. This has actually gone pretty smoothly. Really, all I need to do is recreate my shares folders and pass that. Basically all I need to do is recreate my shares folders and pass that, and just copy everything back on. I'm not entirely sure if I'll need to copy my network config back on. I'll go ahead and cat that. I'll go ahead and look at the network configuration file and see what's going on there. Let's see. In fact, go ahead and install Nano. Oh, it's already done that. Okay, that's neat. Go ahead and bring in W3M. Okay, so no, I don't want to use the app source. Faces, okay. Warning communications lost with UPS. Okay, yeah, that's APC UPSD complaining because I haven't actually configured it yet. DNS name servers. Okay, that's DNS advertisement. My phase EP3 is 0 on net static. Okay, this is actually this is a bit better than what I had, so I'll leave this. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and open up FileZilla. If it'll ever open, hopefully. Oh, there we go. And FileZilla is probably also going to complain bitterly. Yeah, okay, yeah, it doesn't match, so update. Okay, and we're in. So let me see, UPSD. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and upload. I'm just gonna go ahead and upload these two folders. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and disconnect. And let me see. Okay, I need CPR. CPU-R and done. And so I'm going to go ahead and copy the Samba folder over too. overwrite that configuration, drop out of the root prompt, and okay. SMPD, and that should have it. Go ahead and look at VN stat. Not enough data available yet. And time. System live, 10 minutes 35 seconds. And CPSD. APC access, and things are looking good. And then if we go to one of our things here. And I need to do SMB password and whatnot. So okay, so now should be ready to just sign in wherever you went. And we're in. So yeah, it looks like our configuration is mostly done here. I need to go and kill the predictable network interface names. And there we go. We're back up and running. So here's that. ETA0. Now I need to go change the active interface in VNstat. And a long help for this. And there we go. Change the interface. And let me see. Can I create a new folder? ABCDEF. And there we are. We can actually go ahead and view the properties on it. Nothing. Free space. 7.6 terabytes. How about them apples? Something I just realized is focus may actually be a little bit out on this camera. So I'll go ahead and eject that, and then I can act, and you know, that actually went pretty smooth, in which case it looks like I'm just about ready to go ahead and copy everything back onto the file server, and that should be the conclusion of this video. This went a whole lot smoother than my last file server fiasco video. But the way in which this hard drive becomes relevant to the video is because this hard drive right now contains a copy, well, what was a copy now is just a bunch of disk images that I copied off the file server last night and this morning before proceeding with a reinstallation, because I know that the copy of the disk images that was once resident on the other hard drive will very soon be destroyed, and that's actually happening right now as I speak, as D-band reaches the 11.25% mark in zeroing out that hard drive at a rate of 165 megabytes a second and rising as a head stack approaches the edge. As the head stack approaches the outer edge of the hard disk platters within. So there's that. And a quick word about hard drives and hard drive docks and the SATA to USB bridges they might use. These, like this hard drive here, I don't know if something is wrong with my hard drive dock or if I have a failing SATA to USB bridge chipset or what is going on, because that thing right there did not want to play ball, period. Yeah, that thing did not want to play ball, period, whatsoever. Because two different hard drives, including this WD Blue, didn't exactly like it. It would, like in the case of the WD Green hard drive that I tried, what it did is, what it would do is, I would go to create a file system on it, and about the point it would get to writing the file, creating the file system journal or creating the super blocks, or writing all of the backup super blocks, the drive would basically lock up and stop responding. Now when it came to this drive, it would fill the cache on the disk. However, when it went to write that out, that's when the thing locked up and quit responding to the system. I actually had to hook this thing up over an eSATA connection to the Tech Room work laptop, which completely bypasses the ASMedia chipset within it, and that allowed me to successfully copy the data off the file server to this hard drive. So, yeah. So, anyways, it looks like that'll just about be the conclusion of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and reset all of our settings. Go ahead and change that back to indoor auto exposure, which has the unfortunate side effect of completely blowing out the colors on LCD monitors. So, and our camera needs a recharge pretty soon too. So, anyways, I don't think I'm gonna take another snippet of video after I finish copying everything back on. Well, I might. It'll probably be a prologue onto the outro of this particular video. So anyways, this is TCG Productions here. Peace out, guys. Peace out. See you in the next one. More big changes coming up soon. Okay, just a bit of a footnote to the video. I'm here transferring a bunch of small files and stuff back onto the file server, and you can see it is just running through bunches and bunches of files. I would be recording another video, but it doesn't really look like we have the available capacity on the uninterruptible power supply here to do much of anything else without having to facilitate a connection directly to AC line power, and it doesn't look like I have anything reminiscent of a surplus of available sockets. So Yeah. And besides, that big old hulking CRT monitor there, well, let's just put it this way, it would, if I powered that on, that UPS would not be very happy with me. Because I've got main office computer watching YouTube, laptops plugged in and pulling power, transferring, spare main computer system is powered up and transferring. That system's powered up and wiping at the moment and making rather aggressive use of the CPU for such. And so yeah, we're in the file server's processing. Of course, the file server's got enhanced power consumption due to all the activity that it's having to deal with. So yeah, there's not a surplus of power to be worked with here. So, but I figured I'd mention the noise that the file server drive is making as transfers are done. Can't really hear it, and I actually think that you can barely hear that. I'll probably put the camera right up to the computer just so you can try to give you the best chance of hearing hard drive. So anyways, looks like I'll be recording another video whenever either a transfer finishes and I can shut a computer down, or I can or the wipe finishes. Either way, I don't want that. I don't like seeing that bar flashing because that indicates that there's not much battery capacity left. I think it signals low battery, which is why that bar is flashing. If the estimated runtime is within 5 minutes, I think. So if the utility power did go out, I would not have much time before systems started dropping dead and this thing got forced into some kind of a hibernation state. It would also be incredibly hard on the inverter since I've just about got a full load on it. In fact, yeah, I've just about got a full load on that thing at the moment. Okay, come on. Yeah, see, status, online, low bat. The slave status doesn't matter. That's because this system is a network slave to the APC UPSD server. 122.4 volts, load 98.1%, time left 3 minutes. So it's either 3 or 5 minutes when it throws low bat. And 98.1%. Okay. And that is a 1000 VA. That is a 1000 VA UPS, 1 kilovolt amp.